Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Galactic report. Today is Friday, 28th of March, 2025, and we have three major astrological events coming up this weekend, on top of a 2-week phase of huge events happening during the eclipse season. The first one I would like to talk about is Lilith moving into Scorpio, which happened yesterday, or for some of you today. And I would call this the return of our primordial force. And tomorrow we are going to have the partial solar eclipse in Aries, March 29th, which will be seen in the States and not so much in Europe, but it will be felt for sure. And then the day after Neptune, one of the big three, as I call them, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, leaves its home in Pisces and steps into the fire sign of Aries. But one after the other. Let's start with Lilith. Lilith enters profound transformative sign of Scorpio and calls us to dive deep into our souls. You can see Lilith here stepping out of Libra and moving into Scorpio. And with Lilith conjunct are two galactic alignments. We have Izar in a Boot star system conjunct Lilith, and also the Shapley Attractor, one of the supracosmic points. And on the other side, we have Andromeda and the star Mirach opposing this transit. Especially with Lilith into Scorpio, we have the ability or the possibility to dive deep into our souls, and she confronts us with the legacy of our ancestors. So this transit opens the door to galactic ancestral healing, especially the soul connections to Izar, as I mentioned, and Andromeda, plus the Shapley Attractor. With Izar in Boot's star system, we have a lot of dark intuition and a connection with the ability to navigate through shadows, see through manipulations, and expose old structures. Our ancestors in this system repeatedly opposed authorities that were not in harmony with the universal service of creation. And we are able, if we heal this ancestral line, to recognize the hidden and also bring the unspeakable to light. This is a major challenge with Lilith in Scorpio. With Andromeda on the other side, we are able to liberate entrenched systems and be on a more nomadic movement through our lives. We are able to embody freedom and also the balance between masculine and feminine energy, which also reflects back to the dark moon Liliths. So we can pave new paths, break through karmic entanglements, and finally carry the consciousness of overcoming boundaries and preserving the essence of unity. And with Shapley Attractor conjunct Lilith, we have an exceptionally powerful cosmic influence that serves as a bridge between dimensions for our souls. This connection to source is unshakable, no matter what we experience, no matter what deep shadow work we do. we bring universal harmony to Earth and break through old structures. And as with Andromeda, pave the way for the new. And I think this is so, so needed because we are standing on a threshold between past and future, shadow and light, destruction and rebirth. So, the question is, are you ready to dive into those depths? Because Lilith has the tendency, especially in Scorpio, to confront us with the shadows that we need to release and bring into the light of consciousness. And I will talk about the light later in this report. But before that, let's have a look at the partial solar eclipse in Aries that is going to happen tomorrow. As you can see, Sun and Moon are conjunct. So we not only have a solar eclipse, but also a new moon. And this happens in Aries again. We have with Sun and Moon conjunct another star system that is connected to the darker aspects of our being, reticulum, in this case, the star Alpha Reticulum. And I will talk about this for a moment now. The solar eclipse in Aries is a turning point in our relationship dynamics, but also in our individual expression. It urges us for the last time because we have the ending of a 2-year learning phase with a self-assertion and conflict, both on a personal and collective level. So now is the last opportunity to really revise old relationship dynamics and recognize which connections support our path of transformation that Lilith invites us to, and which we should finally and for good leave behind. So now is the time to courageously stand up for ourselves. And the question is, where can we develop more trust in our soul's journey? And the ultimate question, do we trust in our life path? This time, the eclipse, as I already mentioned, brings a deeper message with reticulum star system. The name reticulum means net. It is a symbol of interweaving and connection, as we know, but also of limitation and imprisonment. So this eclipse could signal the end of an old web or the beginning of a new one. So we might be experiencing an entangling of the strands of light of which the web is woven, a harmonization of what has long been disharmonious, and in order to the energy move in its original flow. So is the web a shelter or a trap? That is the question here, because with reticulum, we have an association with deep shadow aspects, with manipulation and interference, but also maybe with evolutionary necessity. The grays that are connected to reticulum have been involved in many of the abductions that have happened from the 60s to the 2000s, more or less. And the question is what was happening to the human DNA, and how is how can we find healing through this? Because there is also another presence with reticulum in our consciousness, the Esasani, the people of living light, which is supposed to be a hybrid race from the future that has already gone through the evolutionary process we are starting to move into now. So the question with this eclipse is, or the invitation with this eclipse is to recognize ourselves or identify ourselves as architects or engineers of light. How do we weave our energetic web? And what frequencies are we imbuing? What frequencies are we emitting? But also with what frequencies do we allow to come in? And also, can we embrace the shadows with compassion and forgiveness without losing ourselves in them? So these are some questions related to this eclipse. And let me know in the comments how this resonates and what kind of entanglements you're ready to let go. Last but not least, we have Neptune, our friend, entering Aries, and a new chapter for humanity begins. Neptune is the planet of our visions, of our dreams. Where is the chart here? And Neptune was in its home sign of Pisces for the last 14 years or so, and has spent a couple of weeks in the cosmic gap here between Pisces and Aries. I talked about this before, and now Red is ready to move into Aries until autumn, and then it moves back into Pisces until it finally enters Aries for good. I think it's next February. So like the dance Pluto did with Aquarius and Capricorn is now continued by Neptune. And this is this Sunday until autumn of this year, we experienced the first energetic shifts that are occurring with this major transit. I will talk a bit about that because it is really, really an important one. Neptune changes signs roughly every 14 years. This marks, therefore, the first time Neptune has been in Aries since the late 19th century. And I would like to talk about two major historical events that happened during its last transit, one for the US. The American Civil War happened during that time between 1861 and 1865, which was a pivotal but also truly traumatic and painful conflict in United States history, which ultimately led to significant societal changes that are still prevalent in our times now. And there is a collective fated point in astrology connected to the abolition of slavery. So here we have a reactivation of this collective fated point, and the question is, how do we experience slavery in our lives, and are we able to release the shackles and step into our full human potential now? We also had an important political event in Germany, which was the unification completed in 1871, where under the leadership of Otto von Bismarck, the German states were unified into a single nation for the first time, and that profoundly altered the political landscape of Europe until today. And I am curious to see how this new transit will affect not only America and Germany, but worldwide geopolitical and maybe even exopolitical events. During this time, a lot of mystical and philosophical works were published. I would like to cite just one, a German philosopher, Immanuel Hermann Fichte, who, for example, published work called Psychology, the Doctrine of the Conscious Spirit of Man, and on the other hand, the theistic worldview and its justification. So we experienced a bifurcation of philosophical consciousness leading into the psychological movement a couple of decades later, and the theistic worldview has definitely changed since then. So we have, with these events that I just talked about in the publications, a reflection of a period of profound transformation and intellectual exploration with lasting impacts on global history and thought. And I think we are entering in a new phase of that now, and I will talk about this later. But before I do that, I would like to invite you to think back to early April 2011, when Neptune moved into Pisces. So what themes have unfolded in your life since then? And what cycle is now reaching its completion, so you can step into a new one? Because this shift transforms the way we engage with our ideals and dreams. Now to some more Terran experiences we have or had in the last week. The first one I would like to talk about is the heightened geomagnetic activity we experienced. We had some major geomagnetic storms in the last couple of days since spring equinox, for sure. And this can be explained by physical effect called the Russell-McFerran effect, which states that a geomagnetic activity is stronger at equinoxes. Due to the geometry of the Earth's orbit around the Sun and the inclination of the Earth's axis, we have more intense geomagnetic activity during that time, which results in actually in temporary openings or cracks in the Earth's magnetic field, which allow solar wind particles to enter the magnetosphere. And as a result, we have not only geomagnetic storms, but also auroras more frequently during this time. And we've seen some of those beautiful images over the last couple of days. But I think that we cannot explain everything with that phenomenon, because there are definitely some changes in the magnetospheric energies around Earth. And one of them maybe is connected to those spirals that were seen in the skies over Europe and Russia in the last couple of days again. The official narrative is that one of Elon Musk's rockets spilled fuel while exiting one of the atmospheric layers. And this frozen fuel from the rocket illuminated the skies. I don't know what to make of it. Let me know in the comments. How do you feel about it, or have you even seen it? I haven't, and I would like to have a discussion what this could be. Is it connected to the heightened geomagnetic energies? Is it UFO phenomenon, or is it something else entirely? For me, it looks a bit like the Milky Way galaxy is spiral form, and this is really something to explore more for sure. I talked about the light of consciousness, or the illumination of our consciousness. And I would like to circle back to that, because a new solid form of light was discovered by scientists. So this is really spectacular in my view, because light up to now was perceived as a frequency, but not as matter. And you might remember me talking about suprasolidity and how light was converted into this suprasolid state for the first time. It was 2 weeks ago I talked about this, so go back to this report if you missed that. Suprasolidity is a quantum mechanical state of matter in which a body is both solid and liquid at the same time. Now we have light as a frequency and a solid matter at the same time. And when you look at the image, it also looks liquid. So we have now a quantum consciousness about what physical phenomena are, and I think we are entering the next octave of fourth dimensional physics, because the energy and frequency on the planet has changed. And it changed because our consciousness is moving into the quantum awareness more. So I think this is very, very exciting. Everything is different than we have known so far. That is absolutely clear. But everything is also blurry, and we can see yet what is unfolding in front of our eyes. We just have the inkling or the feeling that something is there. And so it is not so much about facts and images anymore. It is about our consciousness, our enlightenment. And we might have to get used to the fact that our brains are not able to compute fourth dimensional objects yet. So the question is, are we able to open up our consciousness and slowly start to comprehend what this 4D imagery is? Or do we use AI as our tool for imagination to circumvent the fact that our capacity of creation and logic is at the point where we have to allow it to being enhanced? And I would just like to remind you of those AI images that showed up last week to illuminate or to show us how the structures under the pyramids in Egypt might look like. They're mostly wrong, obviously, because AI can only go so far, but it is really important for us, I think, to understand that the key moving forward into this 4D consciousness, into this quantum consciousness, is to stay heart-centered on one hand and clear-headed on the other side, because we are moving into much more transformation than we are probably aware of yet. So now with Neptune meeting Aries, contemplation gives way to action, if you will. So it's not just about imagining a better world, it is to take a stand for it. And therefore, the boundaries between truth and illusion might dissolve a bit. So this transit invites us more than ever to use our discernment, and at the same time be open to many new ideas, many new inventions coming in now and leading us into this 4D reality. So with this, I leave you, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. Have a beautiful solar eclipse day tomorrow. For those who are going to see it, I look forward to receiving your images and pictures. And have a nice and smooth transition of Neptune from Pisces into Aries. And let's go on this journey together for the next 14 years. I look forward to it. All right, I'm going to see you next week, and I hope you're having a nice week. Bye bye.